CS2, and of course MREC have been absolutely on fire in both the last round of the tournament and in qualifiers. And of course, on Chile, Intercambing, Mathy are always a terrifying duo to go up against.
Yeah, I think, there's a big player on both these teams, right? You've got MREC, of course, best in the world. He's proven himself to be great both in tournaments and in solo play. Intercambing, one of the tourney goats of the moment as well, has had some amazing results recently. And both have put together good teams around them. You know, you've got a very new-look Australia team this year with several new members, AKNZX, Sayo, JGLF, O/Zintex, all playing in their first OSU World Cup. Meanwhile, Chile a little more experience with, I believe, everyone on that roster has played in at least one OWC, I believe. So a little more experience on that side, but perhaps the new blood for Australia, you know, being that little bit of revitalized nature for that team that they've been looking for as they try to take the next step up in OS World Cup. Already very quickly through the bans, Chile banning out DT1, Kickstart My Heart, don't want to play that DT high AR aim, and Australia banning out the low AR hidden. I don't think a surprise on either of those.
No, only surprise is that Chile didn't want to ban out one of the speed DTs instead, but they were going to ban out one of the DTs regardless, and so Australia does have the first pick. I think they're going to go for some kind of speed. You know, you've got that free mod 3 that would look incredible for them. Of course, there's always the DT2 that was left open. And Australia's going to be looking to abuse tapping. They're going to start with the Hard Rock 2 instead. They have looked really good on the Hard Rocks as well, especially these precision picks. I believe they were number 2 or 3 on the precision in qualifiers.
Yeah, Australia, you know, it's interesting because we think of them as, you know, this really solid tapping team based on what we, you know, kind of saw them. They picked 3 tapping maps last week in their match against Taiwan, right? They picked the Nomad 2, DT2, DT3. They had really good scores on all the DTs in the qualifiers as well, but it's a team that's solid with other skill sets as well. You know, precision coming in, this kind of flow-aimy precision with some finger control elements to it, something that I expect them to do pretty well on. The Hard Rock 2 was a pick last week for Chile. They did pick that themselves, but they ended up, I believe, losing that on a break point. So a couple reasons there for Australia to maybe think about picking into this skill set here early on.
Now, notably, Chile did not have Suntan last week, who is a very, very good Hard Rock player for them. I expect we're going to see Suntan in for quite a few maps. That's a really nice player to have back in the roster. And so Chile are in a good spot as well, especially with a player like Intercambing. They have quite a good roster for Hard Rock as well. Australia is certainly the favorites though, and you know, these two teams have not played each other since 2015, back in the group stage when that was still a thing. It's been a while.
I was gonna say, it feels like I have not seen a matchup between these two nations, and that would be why. I don't think I was watching group stages in 2015. That was right at the beginning of my interest in competitive, you know, OSU and tournaments and stuff. So here we go for the first time in 8 years in the OS World Cup. Australia versus Chile going to get underway. It's going to be MREC, Zintex, O/and Secretbox. So two experienced players for Australia, 2 of the newcomers. Zintex, a solid mechanics player. O/ really good at the kind of early round consistency you're going to see. Intercambing, Mathy, kind of probably going to be perma lobby for Chile. And they're going to be joined by Yunha and Suntan as mentioned. As we get underway here, see if Australia can get off on the right foot with their first pick.
Yeah, and this Hard Rock 2 is going to be more of a aim control precision. As we see, Mathy already finds the miss. Intercambing follows it up as well, so 2 misses down for Chile, but there goes half the lobby. Everybody except for MREC has fallen, and Secret Box actually does hold on as well, so Australia are in the driver's seat here. The question is, can they hold on to this lead? And it's looking good for now as Mathy finds yet another miss.
Yeah, this is not a very long pick, so those early breaks can start to matter. There's a big chain miss from MREC, though, dropping on that entire kind of awkward geometric stream, and so it is now up to Secret Box, but he is being backed up pretty well. O/ and Zintex both recovering quite solidly. Intercamming doing what he can for Chile, but he's a bit behind the FC by a couple hundred combo, and the only support for him is Mathy, so this is going to look pretty good for Australia. Very difficult, you know, that intro, if you're not super consistent with it. The first half of this map can trip you up a lot, and you saw it there, as there were, you know, next to nobody able to make it through cleanly.
Yep, second half of this map has quite a bit more aim focus to it. It's a very different style of map, and we'll see if that does favor Chile at all. They are going to need it if they want to make a comeback here. And here we go into the last section of the map. Yunha is the first to find a miss after the break, and Australia, it's just great recoveries. We do have a couple more streams here. Can Secret Box hold on? It's Matthew now who finds the drop, and I think that might be it.
Yeah, it should be. Zintex is basically matching intercamming, and that's a backing combo for Secret Box on Australia's side. So this should be Australia just bringing this one home into the ending. There are some space triples and some slightly more difficult aim, but it's just going to be a couple traded misses. Emrek, Suntan, O/Matthew doesn't really matter at all. It's an 800k lead. It's an 800k plus win. And it is Secret Box making his way comfortably through that space stream and the Quint at the end, bringing home the bacon for Australia on their first pick. A very good play from Secret Box and a very solid team score, just shy of 3 million there for Australia. They'll take the 1-0 lead on their first pick. Chile really never competitive in that one, unfortunately. 3 scores of 460k or below. Not going to be enough to make a map like that happen.
Quick no mod 4 though. Chile is going right for the rating pick. No surprise whatsoever. This map, it is the no mod rating, AR8. It's going to have a ton of overlap, so it's not necessarily your usual kind of low AR, dense aim rating that you often see in that hidden 2 slot. But instead it's just going to be a lot of overlapping no mods that are really tricky to read. There are some really brutal patterns in this one that are going to catch a lot of players out, and this is the kind of map where you can absolutely see one player hard carry a map like this. It is one of the harder maps in the pool, I'd say.
And this is JGLF time. One of the newcomers to Australia is an incredibly highly touted reading player, especially in some of these early stages, your round of 16, round of 32, and so on. So we'll see what he can do for Australia. Going to be, I think, a key figure for them on this map. Of course, on the other side, you've got No 37, Number 37, and Gonza, both really good hidden and reading players themselves. Intercamming, likewise, very solid with the low AR reading. So I think plenty of players on both sides who should be able to play a map like this. And it's really short, right? Minute and 39 seconds. So even if you're not 100% comfortable with the reading, this is actually within the realm of reason to just kind of be able to memorize it. You play it through a few times when it's this short, and that becomes, you know, kind of a viable tactic if there's any patterns you're not comfortable with.
It is, and there really is only those kind of few patterns that are really tricky towards the ending that wouldn't take too long to practice. Otherwise, it is kind of a slightly easier map, especially early on. So we're going to see some bigger combos at the start of this map. Emrek comes in as the last player for Australia, and here we go into the no mod 4.
Yeah, I think, you know, you're probably going to see Emrek Permalobby. That dude just plays everything and does it well, so should expect good things out of him. But in we go. The MP start comes out, so we will be going into the first pick here from Chile. And do they know what they have unleashed with JGLF? Is this, you know, the hype going to be real for the new player on the Australia side? Let's find out. I think this is going to be a pretty closely contested one.
Is this just the JGLF 1v4 angle? I guess we'll find out. Against another team, I would say maybe, but Chile is one of the best reading rosters in this tournament, so they are certainly a team to be feared. Big chain miss for Number 37, TFG, and O/ have also found misses. We're going to see a few of those into the start of this one as the players take their time to adjust to this map, and now as they're settling into it, we should see some of those combos recover. But Number 37 is dropping a ton of accuracy, already down to 92%.
Yeah, not what you want to see. There is a break, though, from Emrek, so that is one of those 3 FCs gone for Australia. It is now JGLF and Doomy holding the FCs, matching, intercamming, and it was Gonza, but he finds a break as well as Number 37, TFGE, O/ and Emrek breaking once again, so it's just 2 FCs for Australia against 1 FC on intercamming from Chile. It's going to be Australia taking this lead at the about 1/3 mark. Not a lot going on for the other players. Guys having a lot of trouble recovering combo. If you're not comfortable on this, you're going to have a really rough time. But as long as Doomy and JGLF continue to hold, Australia should be able to maintain this lead. But man, those combos can start to grow for Chile if Australia's not careful.
Yeah, the continued misses from O/ and Emrek are really holding Australia back there. The score lead staying under 100,000 as we get into the ending. There is that really brutal circular pattern coming up, and you have to watch those big combos. Are any of these players going to drop? The pattern coming up is where you're going to see it. But the sporting combos are going to matter too.
Yeah, this is where things start to get pretty crazy here this last quarter. There goes intercamming. That was the FC for Chile. They really needed him to hold on to have a chance in this one. With JGLF and Doomy still holding the double FCs, the Gonza and TFG combos just unfortunately are going to be outmatched. There goes Gonza anyway. And that is going to be the breakpoint to Australia. The double FC does come out. JGLF proves why he's here. He lives up to the hype with just the miss in the last 30 combo. Doomy holding the FC. And that is going to be Australia with the quick breakpoint by 300k plus score. Very unfortunate that JGLF broke right at the end there. I think that still counts as living up to the hype considering. But just the slightest little choke for the man.
Yeah, 1x100, one miss. You really can't be too upset about that. And of course, Doomy with the FC, absolute tournament veteran for Australia. This is Doomy's 7th OWC appearance, one of the longest kind of storied OWC players just in the history of OWC now. Really getting up there with some of the all-time greats that have been in OWC for a while. And Australia has another pick. They have a chance to put this match up to 3-0.
Yeah, and I think they've proven, with those first two picks that they can win on some weird stuff. We talk about how good they are at mechanics, and they were able to win on an awkward hard rock and a low AR reading, and now they are going to go into that specialty. They are going to go into the DT3, so it's going to be a high BPM, 264 BPM. It's light aim and some tapping. I don't really think of this as a true speed map because it's mostly just triples and quints, other than I think one longer stream towards the second half. But it is definitely high BPM. It is a little higher AR, and this is the sort of thing where Australia has really, found a skill set that is very, very strong for them.
Yeah, Australia has been very nearly unmatched on some of these DT picks so far in this tournament. Matthew Suntan should be filling out this Chile roster as well. And to Chile's credit, they've been very, very good at these speed picks as well. I mean, Matthew intercambing Suntan is an incredible speed roster, but Stofar has not quite matched up to the scores the Australian roster has put up. We'll see if they can do so today as we do wait for that last player. I would imagine that's going to be CS2.
Yeah, it was CS2 last week on the DT3 and the DT2 and the Nomad 2. But yep, there it is. AKNZX, so that is CS2. Which I suppose we should pick one to refer to him by. But be that as it may, it is the expected roster here for both teams. Suntan filling in. It was not, was not there last week. I believe they had kind of a rotating roster for some of the speedier picks to try to fill in. But yeah, both teams good rosters for this, but I definitely would favor Australia. Just anytime you have a roster with Emrek, Seaverprox, CS2, and then Doomy, like almost as an afterthought, you've got a really strong team. They were number 1 on Nomad 2, number 4 on DT2, number 3 on DT3 last week. So clearly a team that is super comfortable with tapping mechanics.
Yep, now this map, like you said, does have the finger control as well, which can make it a little bit stamina intensive with the length. We have seen our first miss from Yuna. Should be pretty inconsequential as long as we see the recovery, but here we go into the meat and potatoes of the map, into some of these trickier bursts, and this is where the real test begins. We see if all of these players can hold on. It's Secret Box now trading with Yunha, and so that's just going to even things out as Australia should hold on to the small early lead.
Yeah, it's relatively similar in terms of accuracy, relatively similar in terms of combo. Yunha breaking once again, so it'll fall slightly behind for Chile for now, with Secret Box back up to just shy of 200 combo. This is a pretty long map. It's 3 minutes with this BPM and this note density. It's a lot of combo. There go Box and AKNZX, so that's going to be quite damaging to Australia. The lead's going to quickly jump on over to the side of Chile. Intercamming Matthew and Suntan all holding, and it's what happens on this. You can break on the light aim patterns of this map and hit all the tapping just fine, but with now Doomy and Emrek holding the FCs 2 against 3, that'll be advantage Chile through the middle third.
And as long as you're comfortable with the burst, this isn't necessarily one of the harder maps in the pool. This is one of those maps where you would expect to see some really big combos, potentially a couple FCs, so it's far from a guarantee that we see any of these big FCs on the side of Chile drop. There is quite a bit of map to go, though.
Yeah, this one only halfway through. There's another break from Secret Box. Not what you want to see, especially with Yunha recovering his combo quite well. It's got to be a couple of breaks from these FCs for Chile if Australia wants to find a way back into this. you can't really say that this was a mispick, but perhaps a somewhat underperformance from those two members of Australia. But there goes intercamming. So that is a start for Australia to try to claw their way back this 200k lead. And there goes Suntan as well. And that is a nightmare scenario for Chile, now down to 1 FC and 1 backing combo. And it's still 2 FCs with Doomy and Emrek, with AK and ZX recovering. This lead should come down pretty rapidly with still a quarter of the map to go.
Yeah, the door is wide open for Australia. As long as none of these big combos miss, the score should go back over. There is plenty of time left in the map, and it's just going to come down to that last burst section. Now, this burst section is the toughest one in the map, so this is where the pressure builds for Doomy and Emmerich to hold on. Even a miss from AK and Z would be a disaster at this point.
Yeah, but man, it just doesn't seem like it's necessarily going to be forthcoming. The lead goes over to Australia as Doomy and Emmerich continue to hold the FCs. AK and ZX into the secret box, still holding the backing combo. And Australia has done enough. They have made the comeback happen. Chile, with those late breaks from a couple of FC players, opened the door for Australia, and Australia said, thank you very much, we will indeed be taking that lead. It's a double FC, Doomy and Emrek doing their duty for the team. AK and ZX with a very solid backing score at 783k. The FC did come through for Matthew, but just did not have another FC like they would have needed. And that is 3-0 with a consolidated breakpoint now in favor of Team Australia, and a quick free mod 1 pick. That was instant free mod 1 for the side of Chile. They're going back into another gimmicky map.
Yeah, they're going to pick these gimmicks as much as they can. This one has lots of finger control, very rhythmic pick. And Chile has been doing quite well on the free mods. So have Australia, though. We do have intercamping going to be in for the hard rock on the side of Chile, and they have quite a few very good hidden players that they can put in here. Number 37, of course, has been the go-to hidden player so far. But on top of that, you have TFG, who's very good at hidden as well. So they have quite a few options here.
Yeah, the choices for last week, which there were certain similarities in the free mod one, with it being kind of an alt free mod one last week as well. You had Australia running with Sayo, JGLF, Emrek, and a secret box, so a little different this week, possibly with Zintex coming in. Don't know that he was there last week. I don't think he played any maps last week. Meanwhile, free mod 1 for Chile was Matthew number 37, intercamming, and TFGE. Kind of figured that's probably going to stay the same, but Australia switching it up a bit. This one, kind of this swing rhythm, control aim, one stream about 2/3 of the way through that can trip you up if you're not careful waiting for it. But tricky with really any mod, slightly smaller circles and slightly lower approach rate at only AR9. It lends itself to being slightly uncomfy for every mod, or, if you're a comfort mod player, it could be fine for you, but it's not, perfect for any one mod. It's very balanced, I feel.
And there's JGLF back in for the hidden. This is what he does best. And I don't think we're going to see any over mods. We saw quite a few last week, but this map is quite a bit harder than any of the free mods from last week.
Definitely a tricky one. It looks like everybody is ready to go. So we will get to this map. 4th pick of the match. Feels like a must-win here for Chile. Don't want to go down 4-0. It would be Australia holding match points the rest of the way through if that were to happen.
And I stand corrected, T1G. We've got 4 mods on the side of Chile, 3 on Australia.
We saw Overmod. I know we saw Overmod at least once earlier. I feel like I want to say it was China ran an extra mod, maybe an extra hard rock on this. It's, I guess, decently comfy with hard rock. Also, Canada overmodded this earlier as well, so not the craziest thing to see. If people are comfortable with the hard rock on it, then by all means let them. But it's all about the control aim. Keep your accuracy up as best as you can, and you will see not the greatest accuracy on a lot of the hard rock players. 93% on hidden for TFG, a couple 97s for intercamping, Mathy, 96 Zintex, etc.
Yeah, and that's going to be one of the big things to look out for here. That accuracy can be quite important with Score V2. If we see some big accuracy difference, Zintex finds the first big miss, and that's going to be advantage Chile early on. It won't go back over quite yet because of the accuracies, but it should shortly, as this next part of the map isn't too difficult until the next KI.
Yeah, And there is the lead finally going over. Matthew with that early break took us extra second, but there goes O/, so that's now 2 of the FCs gone for Team Australia. Intercambing, TFGE, and number 37 all holding on. Zintex breaking once again. MREC and JJLF, we're going to have their work cut out for them if they want to make this map close. But there goes TFGE, so... You know, the more that he misses, the more that score is going to start to drop. But with O/JGLF both breaking, this is going to be next to impossible. Halfway through, it's going to be a quick 200k lead here in just a moment for Chile, holding on with Intercamming and number 37 on the FCs. Matthew not far behind. This is not looking great for Australia. This is looking like a pretty good pick for Chile.
There goes number 37, but that's not going to be quite enough for Australia. JGLF finding another miss. It is 2 big combos. There goes Matthew as well. Now it's Emmerich versus Intercamming. If Intercamming finds the miss, there is still time for Australia to come back, but it needs to happen soon. Drops some accuracy on that stream, but does hold on. That's going to be vital for Chile.
Well, they're going to get to the break. They're going to see the score. It's a 220k lead for Chile, but it is not over quite yet. If TFG, Matthew, and number 37, even just those 3 have trouble with the last quarter of the map, where Zintex, O/, and JJLF maybe can build some combo up. And of course, as I say that, Zintex does break, as does JJLF, so maybe not. It would have to be a break from Intercamming right about now, with Emmerich still holding on at this juncture for Australia to have any chance. O/'s combo is not going to be enough, especially with TFG matching.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like it's happening so far. Intercamming is so consistent at the Hard Rock. Emmerich does have a big accuracy advantage, but not enough when the sporting combos are not there, and I think Australia is out of time. Chile are finally going to be getting a point with possibly FC from both Intercamming and Emmerich.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very solid play from both of those players. Not easy at all to keep this control aim in check with Hard Rock on, but both of those two managed to do it quite well. Intercamming leading the way for Chile there finally, as you said, getting their first point on the board. It's a 320k win. A more comfortable score gap in the stats sheet than it really looked like if you watched that whole map through. It was pretty close in terms of combo for much of the pick, but Intercamming does his job and gets 3 solid 500k plus backing scores, which is exactly what Chile needed. And now, well, it goes back over to Australia, and they're going to very quickly... We're getting a lot of quick picks in this match. Australia is going to very quickly go into DT2. Unsurprising there, it is going to be 219 BPM tapping map.
Yeah, and Australia is just going to keep picking these tapping maps every time they have the pick. And this DT2 is going to look great for them. We're going to see the same roster, I would imagine, as we saw in the DT3. Doomy back in, who has FC 2 out of 2 maps played so far, so Doomy has been on fire this match. I think we've got the lineup there for Chile. Should just be Intercamming, Gonza, Matthew, and Suntan.
Yeah, and I mean, the way that DT3 went, like, it was 135k. That was very close the entire way through. You had that FC on Matthew. You had a really good score from both Intercamming and Suntan. And it took Emmerich and Doomy double FCing to keep Australia ahead. DT2 sounds a little scarier than it may have otherwise. I do think it's still a fine pick for them, but they're going to need that level of performance or even better if they want to avoid giving up a break point. If Chile continues playing, you know, as well as they did on the previous DT, Australia needs to perform as well or better than they did before.
Yeah, it's by no means a guaranteed point for Australia. And this one, more than anything, is going to be about the consistency. There are quite a few quads throughout the map as well that can trip players up, and you have to be really, really consistent to hit every single one of those, especially with a map this long.
Yeah, we have some decently long picks in the DT pool this week. All 3 of them are, you know, 2 minutes 40 seconds or longer, which like feels long on these note-dense tapping maps like these. You know, similarly, like with the Fremont 3, the other speed map in the pool, 3.5 minutes long with a 2k combo. So little consistency in the tapping maps this week, not just speed tests, but some consistency to them as well. Blasters are locked in. We've got Doomy, Emmerich, Secret Box, and AKNZX, Intercamming, Gonza, Suntan, and Matthew for Chile. The match is going to continue on here. 3-1 lead for Australia, clinging to the breakpoint advantage. Just need to win their own picks to win out, but that's never an easy task against a team as solid as Chile. So gotta keep the concentration high, gotta keep the combos up, and gotta put your best foot forward if you're Team Australia here.
And as we get into this one, I just want to highlight, because there's so much combo in this map, the accuracies aren't necessarily going to be as important as they would be in a lot of other maps, as long as you have the big combos to make up for it. But we could very easily see 1 or 2 massive combos making the difference. Could get quite close to a 2k combo if they're playing very well. And we have seen a couple early drops just from Suntan so far. And this map is fairly consistent in difficulty throughout the map, so we should see a few more breaks later into the map as the players start to struggle with the
Stamina, perhaps?
The stamina, that's the word, thank you. Stamina a little bit more. And now it's Gonza. That's going to be the first important miss of this match, and Australia once again are off to the early lead. Not quite yet though, goes back with a quick accuracy drop from Australia, but they take their score lead back, and they're going to be looking to push this one into this next PI section, and all of them holding through it so far. They're in a really good spot early on.
Yeah, this one, you know, it has bursts, it has slightly longer streams, it has some fairy control patterns as well. It makes it a little more difficult to keep the accuracy up. Chile doing a really good job with the ACK early on, which is why the score stayed as close as it did for as long as it did, despite the breaks from Gonza, with Matthew holding a 99.6, because of course he is. Matthew obviously known for his speed accuracy, but Gonza having some more trouble. There is yet another break. So despite the double FC and a near third FC from Suntan, Gonza is having a lot of trouble. He is basically half of the score of the players with FCs, and that's why you see this score gap. That is all Gonza versus the FC score, just making up the difference of 200k now in this map.
Pretty much, and this is an absurd performance from Australia so far. They're still on 4 full combos. The map will get a little bit tougher as it goes on, but there goes intercamping now, and that's a big drop for Chile. They are so far behind now. Only 2 FCs against all 4 of Australia. All of them hit that death stream, and it's looking great for Australia. They just do not miss here.
No, this is Australia showing why they had the DT qualifier scores that they did, and showing why they're a feared tapping mechanics team. A 4-way FC still being held with a quarter of the way to go. I mean, it's 500k plus in their favor. This one's a formality to the ending here with just, with no FCs, excuse me, on the side of Chile at all against a 4-way. This is an incredible performance from Team Australia, though regardless of what Chile did, there's not much contesting a 4-way full combo. They are still holding all 4. Are we going to see, like, well, this is one of the first times, if not the first time we've seen this map on stream, and we may be getting a 4-way full combo, a treat for the viewers, the spectators, and the team of Australia alike, as they are just shredding their way through this map. 98-7, 98 ACK for all 4 members. It is going to be a 4 mil plus score. We are coming into the ending. Will they hold on to the 4-way full combo? I think they just might, into the last longer stream, and they do it! Wow. That is a team score for Australia for the ages. The 4-way full combo. AKNZX, Secret Box, Doomy, and Emrek get the job done for Australia. That is possibly the score of the weekend right there.
Yeah, and this is why Australia has been so good on DTs. I think it's safe to say this will probably be one of the best scores on this DT pick throughout the weekend. I would be surprised if we saw another 4-way FC on the map, and you just really cannot give over these intensive speed finger control tapping picks to Australia.
No, I mean, it was always going to be the least of the evils for Chile in the ban phase. You know, I'm sure they felt like they had to ban one of the DTs or Freemod 3. And I think Freemod 1 unfortunately DT1, excuse me, may have unfortunately been the wrong choice. I do feel like maybe banning DT2 would have been the better option considering how that one went, but as they say, hindsight is 2020. There's only so much you can do there, and Chile is going to continue going into anything that isn't mechanics with their own picks. They go, you know, what, Nomad 4, Freemod 1, and now we're going to go Nomad 2, which is cut stream, you know, artificially generated cut stream map simulator.
Yeah, unfortunately for Chile in this case, hindsight is a 4-way FC, and they're going to be looking to put that in the past with the Nomad pick here. Jerry Beans. This is just stream tech, and I do think this is a solid pick for Chile. It is still tapping, but not quite the speed that Australia has been so good on, with players like Intercambing, Mathy, and Suntan, even Gonza, who have been really good at some of these tech-focused picks. Chile are in a really good spot to give themselves another point here.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what Australia looks like on this type of map. We really haven't seen them play any tech. They didn't play any tech in their first match. They didn't, obviously haven't played any tech yet in this match. Had a decent, not great score on No Mod 4 in qualifiers. Chile led their qualifier by almost 500k when you compared the two teams' scores. So it does look like a skill set that Chile may have advantage on. And might be proving that when you see Australia having one player in the lobby. You gotta figure this is like Box, Emrek, and then like maybe AKNZX and O/, or something like that. But they're clearly having a decision on the matter.
Yeah, I think both Syntax and O/ could be in for this one. They're both pretty comfortable on the tech. Just going to depend which one is feeling better, and it is going to be O/ and Doomy, who has yet to miss in this match. That is not what you want to see for Chile. Here we go. Good luck, have funs in the chat. Chile has one more chance to hold on there. They cannot give up another point. This is their own pick, though. They are looking to keep themselves in the winner's bracket just a little bit longer on Jerry Beans.
Yeah, this quite the song name and diff name, I gotta say. But I like this roster from Chile on this map. I think, intercamming Matthew, you can always expect to do well. Gonza, Suntan. But man, Australia has just looked scary. This is such a departure, map stylistically from what we've seen that who knows how this is going to go. We saw Canada put up a truly outrageous team score on this earlier, so maybe one of these teams capable of doing something like that. Hard to say. But for Chile's sake, hope it's them to keep this match going.
Yeah, and it's just going to be early misses traded on the easier sections of the map. We haven't even gotten into the tricky section yet. This is a very, very tricky map, though. One of the hardest maps in the pool, and so we're going to be seeing drops all over the place. And there goes Suntan. O/ trades it back, but Matthew as well, so advantage to Australia at the start. And Australia are going to go into a bit of a slower section just for a moment where they are going to be able to build up a tiny bit of a score lead before we get right back into the next KI section after these triples.
Yeah, and this gets pretty intense. You get the kick sliders, you get the cut streams, and you get into this next section with a bunch of buzz sliders as well as some slider aim where it's very easy to break on just about anything. There's going to be the first miss in this part of the map from Gonza. Doomy does follow it up, but it's Emrek and Box on that double FC. That's really important with O/ holding a decent backing combo. Intercamming the lone big combo for Chile. They don't have an FC, so it's going to be very advantageous to Australia the longer that Secret Box and Emrek continue to hold through this section. And they reach the halfway mark where things quiet down again once more. And it's going to be just shy of a 200k lead for Australia, and it's going to continue to grow thanks to those backing combos in the double FC.
Yeah, Chile found a double reset as well, so they're not going to have any supporting combos themselves aside from Suntan, which is just not enough when you have those last matching. There's a miss from Doomy, but that's not the combo you need. It was not one of the bigger combos on Australia. It has to be Emrek and probably Secret Box at this point. There's one.
Secret Box just breaks twice in the slow part. You kind of can't afford that, generally speaking. There's a chance they get away with it, but that gives an opportunity here back to Chile with intercamming and Suntan matching Emrek and O/. That means Gonza and Matthew have enough backing combo to take over. There goes Gonza though, so it's got to be all three of these combos holding for Chile. There goes the intercamming, and as long as Emrek O/ hold, it's going to be fine for Australia with just Suntan left on the combo. Emrek O/ doing the job here for Team Australia. They're going to bring this one home into the ending, I think.
I think they certainly are. Only question now is, do we see the full combo out of Emrek?
I think we just might. He's looked so solid. He always looks so solid. It's rare to see many misses out of him in any match. And the aim looking clean on the cut streams and on the slider aim alike for Emrek, and he is going to bring it home. That's going to be the FC for Emrek. That is going to be the match win for Australia. That is 5-1 on the back of another solid break point there for the boys from down under. Emrek 99 AC, full combo, a 700k backing score from O/ as well. Very well done. Chile just not quite up to the task. They're going to drop down to losers bracket, and Australia are your victors. 5-1 the final score. Very well played to that team. They performed admirably this match.
Yeah, continuing the OWC dominance so far. Have only dropped one map in this tournament against a very strong Chile team, and so they're going to be very scary, but they do go up against the winner of Poland-Brazil, so Potentially a tough matchup for them in the next round.
Yeah, not to speak out of turn, but you got to figure that's most likely going to be Poland coming out of that match. Sorry to Brazil and Brazilian fans. I'm just being objective here. Australia versus Poland is a heck of a quarterfinals match to think about, and Chile going to drop down. They get Finland as their first match in losers round 2 next week, and then I believe it's the winner of our other match that's going on right now. Is looking like it's most likely going to be Singapore, so it's probably going to be the Singapore-Brazil winner as like their second match next week. So, some opportunities there for Chile down in the losers bracket. Don't count them out yet. They can definitely make a run in losers with that roster that they have established, but Australia looking so good. Going to be very excited to see how they play and how they continue to scale as these pools get harder and harder, because with the difficulty that we see in the round of 16 this week, you can only imagine what quarterfinals and onward are going to look like. And for some of these high skill cap players, that's going to be good. And for some others, maybe you start to fall off just a little bit. So we're going to see what that looks like next week. I'm very excited to see this iteration of Australia, a very new blood roster for them, to see how they do.
Certainly, and we do have, of course, Singapore, Mexico going on right now, currently 4-1 in favor of Singapore. They are about to get into the last map mold, so go check out that match. Should be a good one. And as for us, next match is going to be tomorrow, about 8 hours from now. Russia, Hong Kong, Turkey, Indonesia, going to be happening at the same time, 13 UTC. So stay tuned for that. Those are going to be some good matches as well.
Yeah, I guess technically 3 since we did a Friday match, but day 3 of this round of 16 losers round 1 weekend promises to have some great matches in store. So make sure you are following along. And for now, definitely go take a look into Mexico versus Singapore, as that match is getting down into the nitty gritty of the late stages. But for us, congratulations to Australia. Commiserations to Chile. Thank you for watching. I've been T1G, he's been iFlame, and we will see you guys tomorrow morning as the matches this weekend continue onward.
Take care.